Happy D&D month, everybody. For those who don't know, D&D, happy D&D December, everybody. D&D December is the time in December that my good friend Pro Jared dedicates his channel by uploading all of Dungeons & Dragons related content. From like how to make your own character, like really bad players, or you know, his experiences as running games and just really cool interactions and things that happen within the game. I've had a little bit of experience with playing Dungeons & Dragons myself, and I wanted to share with you guys the story of my very first campaign that I actually ran as a DM. And it was a homebrewed, custom-made Harry Potter adventure. If you didn't know, I kind of like Harry Potter a lot.
Right away.
Oh! Welcome to Harry Potter month.
Louis Maximum.
Oh my god!
Louis Maximum.
Known as Quidditch World Cup. It's this game. That might be a bit of an understatement. So my last year at college, I wanted to go out with a bang. I wanted to play Dungeons & Dragons again, so I thought, wouldn't it be awesome to create the experience, the most ultimate experience that I would love as pretty much a Harry Potter fanatic within Dungeons & Dragons for my friends who were all both played Dungeons & Dragons. This would be our second time actually playing, like second campaign, and who love the wizarding world of Harry Potter. So that meant having a system that was sound and solid, but not over encumbersome, that kind of took away or slowed the game down, and having a story that was filled with all the magical wonder you would want in an experience like this. So the first problem was figuring out what era or timeline do I tell this in? You know, are they walking the halls with Dumbledore as he is a student? Is it past that time? Are they with Harry's kids? So what I did was, in order to make it not verbatim and to kind of to steer the spotlight off of Harry and to put it on the players that were actually going to participate in this new story, was that I was going to say Voldemort never existed, therefore Harry was never famous. It gave me the creative liberty to shift things around, but ultimately to make sure that this story was going to be focused on our players. I also knew I didn't want the campaign to be long. The first campaign that we ever played, which was our first introduction to Dungeons & Dragons, lasted a total of 13 games, some of which spanned from 8 to 13 hours a game. And a lot of things happened story-wise, and we were going by 4th edition, so it was slow, but it was very fun. I wanted this game to not be this big commitment, so I was like, okay, 5 games, Harry Potter. It was going to be something I wanted them to never forget. I spent Christmas break and spring break, all the time that I had, sipping tea, listening to the Skyrim soundtrack as I composed this grand adventure for our players. To even enhance the experience, I even compiled every single Harry Potter song and listed them into tonal and mood categories so that I would know what is based on what was happening in game. Was it a mysterious moment? Was the character saying something a little dodgy, something untrustworthy? So that I knew these songs like the back of my hand, categorized in a way that I could be like, boom, boom, play that junk off of my laptop, fade it in. Yeah, I went a little overboard. If I'm gonna do something, I'm either gonna go all the way or I'm not gonna do it at all. That's pretty much me in a nutshell. I didn't want the campaign to all consist of like their first year in Hogwarts, like them just be lowly first years, not knowing a lot of magic, and having to basically grind their ways up to learning a lot more fun spells to use or whatever. What I had planned was that the first game was going to be the first year, so to speak. So that was all the introductory stuff that pretty much Harry Potter is known for. So going to Diagon Alley, all of the players were going to have their separate individual encounter with Ollivander as they got their wand, and a drawing by yours truly that listed their, you know, its weight, length, what was inside of it, and you know, you could see what it looked like. So really claim ownership into the experience. They're going to ride the train to Hogwarts. So one of the players who had the same breed of cat that Hermione got in the third book. You know, Crookshanks. I think it's called a Kneasel or a Nestle. I never understood how to pronounce this word. So the player who had this cat, they're sitting all together in the same cart, all 5 of them. And as they're just hanging out, you know, he's read the books and seen the movie, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna change the color of my cat. This is the first roll of the game. I believe the color to change the color of the cat was listed in utility. There's no incantation for it, but it had a DC of 3. So all he had to do was roll a 3 on his D20, and he would have successfully changed the color of his cat. Go ahead, roll. Rolls the dice. Very first roll of the game, natural 20. I think he says something like, you know, he wants it to be a black cat with like golden trim, stripes, that shimmer. All right, you got it. His name was Corey who did that, so decided to get up, and they wanted to meander about the Hogwarts Express and talk with some of the students that they were going to school with. Their first year was actually Harry and Ron and Hermione's first year as well. So they were all to be classmates together. 3 of the players went one way, the 2 went the other. Corey happened to run into Draco, and they kind of had a bit of a fight. Not a duel per se, but they kind of had a bit of a fight. You know, Draco's got a bit of an attitude to him. I think the other 3 wound up running into the Weasley twins and Lee Jordan. So they arrive at Hogwarts, and of course they meet Hagrid at the front, and they ride the boats up to the castle across the Black Sea. Or is it the Black Lake? Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Up to the castle. McGonagall greets them. And for this experience, I was going to try to do my best impression of all of the actors from the world to help really make these characters come to life. I remember the more I did Hagrid's voice, the more I just did a number on my voice. The way I always triggered it was to say Hermione, because he always says like Hermione. So you have to go like, Harry, Hermione, like that. Pretty much like a pirate voice, yeah. So McGonagall's was really fun because it's Scottish. Is it Scottish? I don't know. So she's like, Professor McGonagall. Yeah. Harry Potter. It's just, you know, just crap like that. Yeah, maybe I was a bit too into it. They run into McGonagall and they greet her. And so she leads them into the Great Hall to be sorted. One of the other things I wanted to do, I didn't want to juggle people in different houses, but keep them all in the same house. But also, while furthering the spotlight from Harry and his friends to on our new players and their adventures, put them in a different house. So I decided that they're all going to be sorted into Ravenclaw. To be honest, let's be for real with ourselves. The Ravenclaws have an enchanted sky similar to that of the Great Hall in their common room. How cool would that be? So anyways, they're all going to be into Ravenclaw. As they're being sorted, of course, they're seeing all these familiar names and faces that they know from the world also being sorted. Harry's name gets called up, sorted into Gryffindor. Ron, Hermione's into Gryffindor. Draco's name gets called up. So we all know the story of Draco, right? Draco gets called up to the stool. McGonagall barely doesn't even like touch his head. It just hovers over it. The sorting hat says Slytherin, and he's off into Slytherin house. As Draco's name is called up, Corey, the same guy who changed his cat and had a not so good interaction with him on the Express, says, I would like to trip him. I'm like, how do you want to do this? Like, you're gonna like stick your leg out? Like he's already walking up. Like, I don't think you guys are close to one another. He says, no. I want to cast a spell and trip him. I'm like, okay. Tripping hex. I'm like, take a look at the spell sheet, which all had, you know, their DCs of what they had to perform in order to cast these spells. Locomotor Mortis was, you know, it's a leg binding spell in the Harry Potter world that binds the legs together and wants to cast Locomotor Mortis on Draco in a stealth-like fashion in front of the whole school while he's walking to be sorted. This is the second roll of the game. Locomotor Mortis, I do believe, according to this spell sheet, has a DC of 7. Okay, Corey, you have to roll at least 7 to perform this. Rolls the dice. 1. Critical failure. You go Locomotor Mortis, everyone sees you, everyone hears you, you miss Draco, hits McGonagall, who's holding the hat, and her legs get snapped together, and she falls flat on her face in front of the entire school. McGonagall hated Corey. They didn't get expelled, you know, first years dinking around with magic or whatever, but I think also got some detention in the process. I'm just gonna end it on there, but if this is something that interests you, definitely let me know if you want to know how this adventure continued. And if you want to know, I will continue telling these stories for D in December.